Human Settlements Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi says they will continue to develop informal settlements and improve the quality of life. Kubayi spoke to SABC News on the sidelines of the UN Habitat Conference in Pretoria, meant to accelerate transformation of informal dwellings and slums. UN Habitat Executive Director Maimunah Mohd Sharif also called on member states to fulfill their commitments. From an update from Pretoria, let's take a listen to what SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo and video journalist that was also there filed.
It's very important. We decided, because you remember that 2016 South Africa started as well through UN Habitat 3, hosted a process that kickstarted the interventions in informal settlements upgrading. This is carrying on, being the champion, but utilizing ourselves as an example of what we are doing in upgrading of informal settlements, but to make sure that our cities are integrated, are resilient and are sustainable. Because the issue of informal settlements and slum dwelling continues to threaten the conditions of how people can live, and betterly they can be able to be integrated. But more importantly, to bring people closer to economic opportunities. And we note that in terms of the stats, we are told that by 2030 and 2050, quite a number of people will be living in cities. That's why it's important to deal with the issues of informal settlements and slum dwelling. So being given the opportunity as South Africa to host this UN international event, it also contributes to our economic recovery. You'd note that one of the pillars there, it's around tourism, and hosting events and international gatherings contributes to that. So that's why it's such an important gathering for us.
And obviously, Minister, the challenge of the rapid urbanization, where quite a number of South Africans are moving to the cities. It's a big challenge, I would imagine, especially around Gauteng, where you do have all these cities, but the mushrooming of the informal settlements. How is your department, planning around that particular challenge?
Yeah, in the country, as I said in my speech, we've got about 1.4 million households living in informal settlements in the country. These are about 2,600 informal settlements across. Now, urban areas, yes, like Johannesburg and Tshwane, and your Cape Town, eThekwini, Metro specifically, have quite a lot of challenge in terms of that. The migration of people from rural areas into urban areas, migration of people, especially in the region, SADC region, into our cities also pose a challenge. But what we are doing in terms of analyzing, we found that not everybody in an informal settlement literally needs a BNG or an RDP. We are finding that they do not need a free housing. They need affordable space to live that they can either rent or buy. And that's why our social housing program responds to that. And that's one of the areas we would want to see expanding in the coming years, so that it can afford the majority of South Africans to have a shelter over their head, and a decent one that they can, even those who can be able to pay, afford it.
And just before I let you go, Minister, another challenge you highlighted is around the illegal occupation of land. How are you dealing with that issue?
Look, firstly, we are saying to cities, when people illegally occupy land, evict immediately, so that we don't have a problem, because it creates a problem for us for planning. And many of the South Africans are saying to us, you are incentivizing illegal actions. Those of us who are disciplined stay either in our backyards, don't illegally occupy. You forget about us and you prioritize the people who are actually, in terms of this, illegally occupying lands.